now they'll touch the pad. Everybody in the world fused. Yeah. Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. I'm pleased you didn't do your hands then, taking a piss. You could try. I bet you were thinking about it, weren't you? Yeah, okay. So, what's this all about? Well, Erico, down at the South Main Auto channel, did a toolbox tour video quite some time ago. And I didn't really, until I watched it, I didn't really think that a toolbox tour would be, applicable to a video, but Eric's was pretty damn good actually. And when Aidan Lodo popped through a comment saying toolbox tour, question mark, and I think previous to that he had been messaging me on Facebook, on Messenger, asking if I could do a toolbox tour, and then he became a patron on the Patreon page. I felt pretty damn compelled to do this for him. So Aidan, this video is for you, and Sam is here as requested to help with the toolbox tour. Now, I've never done a toolbox tour video. It's a bit odd, and I'm going to be way outside my comfort zone doing one, but I'll do my very best for you because I did promise that I would do it for you. So where do you want to start? Because my toolboxes, first of all, this isn't a regular garage. We don't have cars coming in and out every single day. This isn't my day job. I have a job in the city, and I end up flying all over New Zealand looking after other workshops and trying to help them to be more profitable, more productive, and just do a better job basically. And I also help them with diagnostics on certain vehicles. So my workshop tends to just get left during the week, for either filming, doing the repair jobs, and sometimes when I'm here during the week on an evening, I'll dash into the workshop and try and get a job done as quick as I can. I don't really have a lot of time for tidying up or organising my toolbox. So what you're probably going to see now is probably some of the worst organised toolboxes that you'll ever come across. If you were thinking that my toolboxes are going to be like Teng's showroom, Teng Tools showroom, where everything is polished and laid out beautifully, and even Erico's toolboxes, which everything's got a place, it's all neat and tidy. It's not, is it, Sam?
No.
It's far from it. I'm always hunting around trying to find stuff. If Ben's been in the workshop using my tools, they could be anywhere. And sometimes I can't find things at all, and I have to use, alternative methods of repair because I can't find the tool that I really need. It becomes a bit of an issue. And you've seen that kind of stuff on previous videos. I have to make do because Ben's borrowed something, got to take it to work because he works as a bicycle mechanic on a weekend as well. So I don't always have full access. But, yeah. Where do we start? Well, we should really start with my oldest toolbox. It's actually behind the camera as we speak, and you will have seen it in a few shots. It's actually a snap-on toolbox. Sorry, Teng, but it is. And I've had that toolbox. I bought it, I think it would have been about 1994 when I first started my own business. I had an off-road driving centre in the UK. I won't give the name because it's that chapter's closed, but we had 3 workshops to do with the business. We had quad bikes, 4-wheel drives, we had a Unimog, we had a ZIL 131, an Argo Cat, a Super Cat, which is an ex-SAS vehicle. We had lots. We had a Drott, we had a Kramer Allrad SE121 or something, I don't know. It's like a loading shovel that you use on a farm. We had lots of different vehicle types, and we were always fixing stuff. And these 3 workshops were set up to try and get those vehicles fixed through the night, ready for the next day's work with customers. So again, those workshops tended to get pretty messy, to be honest. So I'll flick the camera around. You can have a laugh. It's taken me a while to build up the courage to do this because I know that the comments are just going to stream down the page about, Andy, you really need to tidy your toolbox up. Yes, I know I need to tidy my toolbox up. However, I sort of know where most things are in my toolbox, unless, of course, pens pinch them. Right. Should we do this, Sam?
Yeah.
All right. I'm really letting myself open here, aren't I? To mass ridicule. Okay, well, here we go. All right, Sam, where do you want to start? We'll forget the top for now. All right, so what have we got in that drawer? Sockets. Okay, so as you can see, it's not a nice, neat set of sockets. It's just, you know, bits and pieces kicking around. What's that? It's a Kennedy socket. Oh, it's a silver line socket. It's just whatever's been. And these are really old. These are very old. These are an impact deep single hex socket, 1/2 inch drive. God, trying to find the size now. 22 mil. Half of them are covered in shuts from various jobs, but you know, it is what it is. That's where this is my go-to drawer for big sockets. All right, Sam. What else have we got? Try another one. Ah, okay. So in here we've got Allen keys, holders that converted to 1/2 inch drive. We've got Torx, safety Torx stuff. We've got these little tiny ones that I bought a while ago. I think it was to work on a Harley for the rear caliper. These are, doesn't even say who makes those. They're probably cheap. Don't know, but I only use them every now and again. But they're not the 6-point. They're the 5-point, which is really weird. Hardly ever use those. Yeah, there's basically a big set in here that I've pulled apart and they all got chucked in a drawer because the box fell apart. These are useful. These are pretty good. Again, don't use them very often. They're power built. See, there's a huge mixture of tools. In fact, I never paid for these. I went to Repco. I shouldn't tell them this, should I? I'm sure Repco's the power built agent. I went to Repco and bought a lot of stuff, and these were on the counter, and they forgot to charge me. So they were free, which is great. So I wasn't going to tell them how to do the job. Right, Sam, what else have we got?
Pins and rulers.
Yeah, marking out stuff and drilling hole stuff, basically, in that one there, and a bit of soft bar for brain stuff. I had to use that one day when I hadn't got my magic hammer to hand. That was with Tool Girl Ali, I think. Actually, we used that. All right, drop down a drawer, Sam. What have we got? I don't mind, whatever you want. I feel bad about all of them. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we've got little ratchets. That's the 1/4 inch drive ratchets that I've had left over from other sets. Extension bars, bits and pieces. Anything? Oh, swivel. Yeah, very dangerous on a windy gun. But again, don't really use it very often though. But it's pretty worn. You can see all the wear in there. There's another one there. Look. This one you can use in a rail gun, which is pretty good. Oh, you've broken it already. Look.
Oh.
All right, what's next? Every mechanic has a bits drawer. So you end up with little spare bolts, and there's my thread lock, insulation tape. We even got a pencil sharpener for my woodworking pencils, wherever the hell they are. It's just general random, you know, whatever doesn't go in the other drawers ends up usually in that drawer. All right, what's next? Tyre levers. Okay, well, being a motorcyclist, we do change a lot of stuff. Now Ben bought me this for Christmas, and I had one years and years and years ago. Oh no, not Christmas, my birthday actually. And with this, see if I can find a bolt. See if I can find a bolt, Sam. Hang on. A decent sized bolt. Maybe there's one in the bits drawer. Can you see a bolt in there? Can you find it? That's a spark plug. Oh, a spark plug. You see? Oh, there's a bolt. Right. So, is that going to fit in there? That's too big. I need a smaller bolt. There we are. Look, there's a small bolt. Right. Make sure I'm on camera. Stretching. Okay, so this socket is supposed to fit and undo any size bolt. And you can see that the little plungers, they sort of push in and then it grips the bolt. It's pretty cool. They are, I think the one that I had before, years and years ago, I was only a kid then, they're alright, but they don't cope with too much torque, so you couldn't use it on that big Makita because it would just destroy it. But sometimes the bolt head's a bit rounded and your socket doesn't fit too well, then it's worth a try, definitely. So I said Ben got me that all the way from China, but yet to be used actually. Right, bits go in there, sockets go in there. So tyre levers, we've got the extension piece for the hydraulic puller. We've got a flywheel puller for a motorcycle. Has it got a part number? No. I think it fits Ben's TTR 250, his Yamaha. We also keep in here are all the various feeler gauge sets as well. And I think that's power built. Yeah, that's for setting spark plug gap. I never use it, but I sometimes use it for tweaking the electrode. Yeah, you can tell these drawers haven't been cleaned for probably about 20 years. Right, that's probably about it in that one. Right, big drawers now, Sam. What have we got? Ah, screwdrivers. Right, screwdrivers and files. So, see, Tane gave me another file, really good. I use that all the time actually when I'm doing calipers on the quad bikes. We've got a half round file, a round file, and basically, as you can see, a multitude of old screwdrivers, which I do use sometimes, but I've got the Tang set now that I tend to use most of the time. Little watchmaker screwdrivers, they're really useful for digging stuff out sometimes and getting, I use as little picks more, of course. Sam's mortified, aren't you, about the condition of my toolbox? It's not good at all. And the drawer never closes. Once you've been in, you can't get the drawer shut, but maybe we'll be lucky today. Right, there we go. Right, Sam, what's next?
This one's heavier.
Okay, so we've got an overflow of bigger sockets. We've got a bit of an airline that I was working on the airline a while ago and just chucked it in there. Now, you may wonder what these are. These are bicycle spokes, and Ben does a lot of work on bicycles, and he gave me a lot of old spokes because we usually sharpen these up and use them as pointy sticks for doing stuff. So he gave me loads of them, probably enough there to last me 20 years. And spanners. So we've got, again, this is a huge mixture of spanners. We've
Yeah, you got some of these.
Yeah. So there's another ratchet hiding in there. We've got, dare I say it, a snap-on. Look at that, snap-on spanner, 14 with a swivel head. It's pretty cool. We've got, what's this one? This one is a Premier spanner. It's a 5/8. Foreign language to me, but anyway, it's got in there somehow. We've got Kennedy, because I bought a set of Kennedys over in England. We've got, this is a Brittle, I've had this one for years and years, Brittle 24mm, made in England, proper spanner. But yeah, again, oh, these are weird ones. These are got a funny kind of, these are a top tool. See, I've got all the brands. 15mm, and it's got like a funny kind of open-ended bit to it. It's supposed to grip the nut or the bolt even better, but I don't think it does. Yeah, oh, there's one there. So I must have bought a set of those. There's a 14. Okay, what's next then? Okay, the big bottom drawer. There could be anything in here. Any fingers? There we are. Right, so we've got a set square for marking stuff out. We've got another set square for marking stuff out. We've got the big hammer, which we use if the little tiny hammer doesn't work. I know what's normally kept in there, which isn't in there, which is up here at the moment, is, ta-da, the magic hammer. And this one has just recently been refilled with fresh unicorn blood. So it should be working very well again now. Spanner that fits all. A big file that wouldn't fit in the other drawer. Lots of the Vise Grips, or mole grips we call these in England. These are Tang tool ones actually, so Brandon gave me those. And again, lots of wrangling down the back, because again, it hasn't been cleaned out for many, many years. Yeah, oh, there's a thread cleaner there, look. I'm actually really ashamed to show my toolbox. It's just, it's like a farm, no disrespect to farmers, but it's much more like the kind of toolkit you'd find on a farm, where they just sling everything anywhere, but they seem to know where stuff is. But it's there's no one brand, you know, this is just a mixture of stuff that I've collected over the years. These are really, really good. Now, Erico's going to kill me for this, because these are actually wire stripping pliers. And I've had these for a very long time, but I don't use them very often. But they're made by a company called CK, which I believe is German. We have lots of wire strippers, side cutters, wire strippers. I think there's even a set of long nose pliers somewhere by CK, and they're really good quality tools. Actually, sorry Tang, but they are. They're really good. Made in Germany, so must be good because that's lasted for years. Anything interesting now? I'm sure there'll be something really interesting. So we've got here, look, for doing the crimping, those little crimp-on terminals. They're pretty good. These are good. These are self-adjusting mole grips, which is pretty good. So you can put anything you want in there. God, I'm working around the camera here. So let's say you get a bar, and rather than adjust the nut or the bolt that you find on the standard mole grip, you can just adjust the tension with that little screw there, and it'll just self-adjust. It's pretty cool. So you can put a small one in. You can find something that's a bit bigger. There's a bolt. That's a bigger diameter than that. Stick it in there. and it automatically adjusts to the right size. It's bloody good, and these were really expensive, and I do use them sometimes when I'm not filming. But yeah, oh, bumpy screwdriver. I thought I'd lost that. I'll put it back in the screwdriver drawer. There we are, look. Alright. Okay, Sam. Well, this is the most messy toolbox. So we've got that out of the way first. We've still got the top to do. So we'll do the top. Move the camera, do the top. And then we'll have a look. Oh, it's never going to go in. It really isn't. You're brave. I'll give you that. Okay, well, we'll try. Oh, Sam, you can do my toolbox again, actually. Right. Jeez. Okay, so I always keep my gloves up here, and as you can see, there's lots of... I like to recycle my gloves if they haven't got holes in them. And maybe I should start wearing them again. So we'll get rid of all those. We've got the cracking bar, so very useful for doing up big bolts nice and tight, and wheel nuts and stuff. And then, hiding under here, we've got the oil filter wrench, you know, for taking off oil filters. Again, very useful. It doesn't fit all sizes. But I have got some new ones coming all the way from Australia. They're on the way from Sykes-Pickervant. Thanks, Dave. Now, wire brush. You know what a wire brush looks like. We've got some more. Which ones are these? These are the Torx Safety with a little hole in. There's a full set there, apart from one that I broke, which is quite like me, unfortunately. So we don't have a T30 anymore. Damn. What else have we got? Oh, that's part of my quad bike. Stick that back over there. Some more Allen keys. These are, dare I say it, the wrong language again. These are AF Allen keys, foreign ones. Useful in America, but not so much useful over here. A tool for pushing pistons back on calipers. Again, I think that's the Sykes-Pickervant one, actually, from years ago. Yeah, it is, Sykes-Pickervant. Might even have a part number. Yeah, 036100. Bloody useful, and yeah, lasts for years. Never broken it. And oh, there's another one. That's not mine. That belongs to a lad called Nathan. He left it in Ben's ute one day. So Nathan will come down one day and pick it up. Speed sensor off a Nissan Patrol. More torches that don't work. Lots more sockets that I never use that really should be cleaned out. That's for removing oil filters off ATVs. Part number 36376. Yeah. That is really useful. It should have a proper home, but it just sits in there. And, of course, a super long screwdriver. You've got to have a super long screwdriver.
So long.
It's good for that bottom hoses on radiators to get down the bottom. And the rest is just Rangham. We call it Rangham in Yorkshire. That's what it is. It's just stuff that really should just get cleaned out. Terrible. All right, Sam. Well, let's head across to the Kennedy socket set, I think. I actually use quite a bit. Geez, so what we've got here is, I'm going to show you. Now, I bought this about a couple of years before I left England, and it's a Kennedy socket set. And I am notorious for losing bits and pieces, but I brought this across. When I first came, I brought some bits and pieces across before the container arrived, and this was one of the things that I brought across in some of my hand luggage just to get to New Zealand when I flew in, because when I arrived here, I really had to start work pretty quick because I had to earn some money because I had no money when I came over. So I brought some basic tools, and this was one of the sets of tools that I brought with me. And don't tip it out too much. You can see in there, believe it or not, Sam, everything is still there. I haven't lost anything. And that's like, I've had that 10 years here in New Zealand. And I just didn't want to lose any bits because it's like the first socket set that I specifically set my mind not to lose bits. So we've got, in this, we've got 6mm all the way through. This is a shallow socket, and these are all, oh, that's a bihex. Yeah. Bihex, shallow, up to 22mm. And I do use these on a regular basis. Maybe not quite as often as the Teng stuff, but I do use it. We've then got, it's all 3/8 drive, and we've got 10mm deep, right through to, what's that one, Sam? You see on there?
22.
To a 22 deep socket. So there's quite a few of those. The ratchet has done a tremendous amount of work. These are clean, as you can see, but pretty good. And this is quite useful. It's like it works as it's filthy. Yes. Sam, you're not cleaning my tools very well, are you? Sorry, there we go. Okay, so it's an extension bar and acts a bit like a screwdriver, so you can put your socket on the end and spin the bolts in really quick. It's got like a mini cracking bar, mini power bar in there, very useful. I use that quite a bit. In fact, I used that this morning, believe it or not. A little T-bar and an extension. It doesn't come with a really short extension. I wish it did because I use really short ones quite a lot. But it has got two really long extensions. Now these are probably about a foot long each. One's got a swivel head and one's got a fixed head. And if I put that on there, you can see there's a bit of movement on the swivel head. And again, I used those this morning when I was working on the ROV outside. Other bits and pieces in here that are very useful is it's got some adapters, so you can go from 3/8 drive to half inch male, 3/8 female, and you can go down to 1/4 inch drive from 3/8, and it's the female there and the male obviously there. And I use that a lot actually on the little impact gun because I use the little 1/4 inch drive quite a bit on that, which I probably shouldn't do because they're not impact sockets. But, okay, Incidentally, that Makita, hang on, jumping ahead, but where is it? There we are. Sam's little Makita, that one. It's really good because it's so small, but it's nowhere near as powerful as your little 3/8 big one, the air one. So, okay, let's move across to the 10 tools toolbox. Now, Brandon's going to go, if he's watching this video, he's going, great Andy, it's going to be super clean and tidy and well presented. It's not. It gets used. Everything gets put away. We're pretty good at putting things away, but actually cleaning the stuff, no. I have my failings, I really do. I'm not the best mechanic in the world, and I'm certainly not the cleanest mechanic in the world. Right, Sam? Okay, Sam, this is the piece de resistance. This is the 10 tools kit that we've got, courtesy of Brandon. Now, Brandon gave me all this stuff when I first started the YouTube channel. Really grateful. It's pretty impressive to have such a big company come on board before I did anything, really. But what have we got in here? Well, I mean, I'll put the camera a little bit further back so you can't see all the grime. But these kits, basically from Tang, they actually come in a box which has a lid, and then you take the lid off, and they all just clip together with these little sort of dovetails, which is really cool. And if I'm going away and I have to do a repair job, say in the South Island, I can stack all these up. And believe it or not, Tang even gave me a portable toolkit, and these little trays, well, they actually slide under there. And you've even got this piece of cloth that you can pull the bit of cloth and it pulls the tray out. Bloody cool. And I have used it a couple of times. It's a very useful toolbox, tool bag thing, is that really. Okay, so back to the toolbox. We've got multitude number of torches, because I'm pretty blind these days, and they're all flat. I know they are because Ben's been using them, so I've got all those to charge up again. We've got one socket hiding in the corner, which is bigger than this
Greasy
set.
as well.
It is. It's full of oil, isn't it? Oh, Sam, you do a terrible job, don't you? Really, you're supposed to clean all this. So it's 24 mil, which is pretty regular size. And then we've got on here. This is the socket set that me and Sam use on a regular basis, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And you can see that they're all different levels of grubbiness. You can tell that the 10, where is he? That's the 10 there, look. And the 12, and the 13, and the 14, and the 17, they all get used the most. And the ratchet, well, that's done a lot of work as that ratchet. I've had it now about 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. And it's still working as well as the day we got it. And I do a lot more work than what I do videos of. Probably only 10% ever gets put on videos. So that is a really cool set. And we'll just clip it back in there like that, so it doesn't move around too much. Because I have an identical toolkit in the back of the car as well. I've got 2 of these. It's great, isn't it? Okay, this is the spanners, and it goes from 8mm, which is a little tiny one, that's Sam's size. There you go. And it goes right up to a 19. And these are what we call combination spanners. So you've got an open end at one end and a ring spanner at the other end. And really useful. And a little trick, I was doing it again this morning, if you can't get enough leverage on that spanner, you can get the next one down and hook it in like that, and you can use that as an extension bar. Pretty good. And I was doing that this morning. Right, now, screwdrivers. Okay, now Brandon's going to kill me because of this, because I actually broke one the other day. First of all, the most important screwdriver of all is the little flat screwdriver. It's used for all sorts of stuff, not just little flat screws.
Yeah.
It's used more as a pick, a little mini pry bar, all sorts of stuff, even a marking up tool sometimes. You can score metal and stuff if it's nice and sharp. This one is getting pretty down worn now. So Brandon, more screwdrivers. There's a similar size star one, and the large flats all good. See how grubby they are, look, they need cleaning out. Another large star one covered in copper slip from this morning. Medium size star, Aussie, call it what you like. And then, this is quite sad now, this is the one that got broken. It should be a medium size flat bladed screwdriver, but as you can see, if it focuses, it's snapped off at the end. So I've got to go and bury that in the garden and get a new one. Very sad, actually. And of course, one more star. Now there is a difference. One's a posi and one's a, I don't know. One's got little tines on it and one hasn't. That's more of a woodworking style screw, and that's more of a machine screw head. So they both get used for probably the jobs they shouldn't be used for. Long nose pliers, they're doing really well. They've been used a lot actually of those, and they still work very well. Side cutters. Well, what's wrong with the side cutters, Sam? Remember? What did we do to the end?
Snipped.
Yeah,
Broken.
it's broken, isn't it? I probably tried to cut something that was a bit too hard for it. Pipe, sort of big pipe poly grip plier things. They're a bit rusty. I don't use them very often, to be honest. And being rusty is really bad. Tools that are rusty are neglected tools, and I do say I have actually neglected to clean these ones. And of course, bull nose pliers, again, really useful, been used a lot, no problems at all, pretty good. This is going to be another long video, isn't it? Okay, lots more editing. Okay, so that's really everything that's on the top. There's a bit of wrangham down the gaps, but you don't need to see any of that. All right, Sam, what's in the top left-hand drawer? Oh, money! Excellent.
Calculators.
Yeah, Sam, you can have
Money.
that. That's for you. Okay, calculators, because they're really good for giving you numbers and stuff. I actually found that. Oh, there's another spanner, a 21mm spanner if you didn't want to fit in there. Oh, look! It's the last Eric O sticker. Look, you've got one up there, look.
Yeah.
So you've got a spare one. That's going to go somewhere very special. Cheers, Eric. Yeah, remnants of insulation tape. Another torch. This one came from Tang, but I've never put any batteries in it. So. More feeler gauges. What else have we got? Oh, a spoke spanner. These are really useful. These are from DRC.
A pen.
Yeah, that's for back probing. Yeah, if when you're doing wiring and stuff, you can, pop it into the little connector and get a reading. No. Oh, they're probably originally for sewing.
Yeah.
And this is a little tool that basically allows you to get onto tyre valves that are really hard to get to on motorbikes. It's like a little extension piece. Don't use it very often, but it's really useful if you can't get your full inflator in there. Right, put that down there. All right, Sam, what's next? Ah, okay, so we've got, in here, we've got circlip pliers.
Stickers.
We've got more Andy Mechanic stickers. I'm not sure if this still works. Oh, almost. This is a really good lighter. It's like a little blowtorch lighter. I think they call them flame-proof, don't they? Flame-proof lighter that has a little gas blowtorch thing. It's probably just run out, but it does. This is about 25 years old.
Damn.
It's doing well in it. Okay, so and some Sharpies. You can't have a toolbox without Sharpies in it, and a GoPro mount for some reason. Don't know why. Okay, shut the drawer on that one. Right, Sam, what's in this one?
That.
Okay, two lots of stuff then. We've got a range of punches from Tactics. That's another brand of tool that Brandon brings in. And again, they've been really good. I don't think I've managed to...
Yeah, that's a bit much.
I've killed that one, haven't I think I was trying to hammer
It's a
some...
different size now.
Yeah, I was actually trying to get something that was hardened steel out with a hardened steel punch, and it just destroyed the punch. So that needs to go on the grinder and be tidied up. The little tiny... Oh, can I get it out? Yeah, oh, Sam, put your little finger down there. Let me get that paintbrush out for us. Can you get it out? That little green paintbrush. There we are. Look. So we've got a little paintbrush.
Oh, yeah.
Remember this? We're doing the diffs. So inside this tin, it's probably glued shut now. Inside there is the yellow paint for doing the marking, and I had to get that off the net because nobody in New Zealand could supply that. The yellow, they only had the blue. So that's very useful for marking up tooth contact on differentials. Right. Okay. Well, look at that, skateboard wheels.
Nice.
Must be Ben. We've got the. Oh, that brings back memories. Do you recognise these? I bet you do. You should do.
On the pulley wheel.
Look at that.
That one.
Yeah,
It's different though. It's
that's
not
the one.
we use.
It is.
What?
Maybe your memory's not. You know, you're getting old now,
Yeah, I
Sam.
thought it was like grey.
So you can
Doing.
unclip it. There, look. I think that's it. And then you clip the
Right.
wire, and then you use that. Pull that down, then it twizzles it round. So for doing basically wire locks,
Huh.
it does lock back in there, Alec. Okay. Stick it back in there. So again, we don't use them very often, but they're really useful when you need them, because otherwise, you know, it's very quick, isn't it, when you're using those, but to do it by hand and to get it uniform is very difficult. We've got an amp clamp made by Limit, very useful. It also does, you've seen this in quite a few videos anyway, and an old multimeter, and we've got the thermal pickup for doing temperature readings on the other multimeter that I have. Homemade spark tester, and Eric O's wire strippers. They're pretty cool. They're snap-on,
Yeah.
They're good. They're really good.
That looks good.
Yeah, they're very posh actually. I feel honoured that it's Eric. Eric sent me these across.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a gift. Real nice chap. Good job, Eric. Cheers. That's two shout-outs in one toolbox tour. Bloody hell. Okay, what's going on? Okay. That's my other multimeter that's been modified because I got fed up with taking it apart to replace the fuse. So it's now got an external fuse on it that I wired in, which is a bit ugly, but it works.
And we've got colourful
Service manuals. We've got
Rainbow.
Yeah, got a rainbow in the drawer. They call this a breadboard. So this is when I was playing around with some electronics. You can make up little circuits using the wires and stuff. But again, and a mini crowbar from Tang Tools. Look at that. You can tell I never use it. It's too clean.
It's shiny.
Way too shiny. All right, so what's the what?
Overalls?
That's for later on. I was gonna get you to wear that. Right. Okay. Next drawer. Bit of string. Can't go wrong with a bit of string and some old paperwork. Don't need that anymore. And my very first Pico scope that I bought when I was first getting into using scopes. I think, Sam, you've used this with me as well at some point. And in here, it's only a 2-channel, and it's not really meant for automotive work at all, but it was only about 230, 240 bucks. See, you've got a sticker on it. But I've diagnosed lots of problems with this. You don't need the full automotive scope. If you're looking for a scope, best one ever. And it's the 2000 series. And it's even got a waveform generator built in as well, which is really good. So I'll tidy that up later on. Alright, Sam, what's next? The grinding disc drawer. So we've got flat discs of various, new ones there, look. Old ones, we've got wire wheels, we've got grinding discs, different sizes. Oh, you're not going to believe this, but when we came from England, Ben filled lots of ammo boxes of all our tools and stuff out of the workshop for us to bring across. And we're still using the grinding discs that we brought 10 years ago. Now we've done a lot of fabrication, but we brought a ton of these grinding discs. We just bought a new stock for the workshop. And Ben thought, hey, we're not going to leave them behind. Let's take them. So I've been using those. These flat discs I've been buying over here. And of course, I think we've run out of new slit discs. These are really good, these slit discs. They're very thin and cut the steel really well. And the hammer's in this drawer because it doesn't fit anywhere else. So I keep the hammer in there for some bizarre reasons. It doesn't really go together. And lastly, Ben got me these. Now this was for Christmas. He got me these off one of the Chinese websites, no doubt. Maybe, I don't know, Amazon or something. I don't know where they came from. But these are like little wheels that you can put into your grinder. It comes with some little adapters and just like little sanding wheels. So they'll be really useful when I need them one day. But there's a lifetime supply for probably $5. It's pretty good. All right, Sam, what's next? Drawer number 3.
3?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. You're on it. There you go. You recognise that, don't you?
Yeah.
So we've got Sam's little 3/8 windy gun, little rattle gun. We use that quite a bit, although I use it less now that we've got the rechargeable ones. A 1/2 inch from Teng again, bloody good, really powerful, really impressed with that. And of course, the impact sockets that Brandon gave you for the 3/8 drive. Now he also gave me this, and I've never used it yet. It's just like a little air ratchet. It's quite bulky, that's the only thing with it, and I've run out of ends, so I can't connect it to my airline just yet. I need to buy some more ends for that. Oh, another gift from Ben. He's pretty good, is my lad. He bought me some little hole saw things.
Huh.
Yeah, so they're actually supposed to be very, very good. So one day I'll use those. They came in a little box, which is nice. Draw to about there. That'll work. Okay, so in here we've got my little Dremel Gas Torch, which I use for soldering and warming things up and stuff. Oh, handy tip, there we are, look. Very useful. I think it might even work, maybe. There we are, look. So very cool. Not cheap, actually, but it seems to work very well, so very happy with that. Solder, fresh gas. We've got the DTI dial. I think we've used that as well when we've been reading things on the little dial tester gauge. Cool. Right, there's that one. And TK tester, which I've not done a video on yet. I need to do that. I keep forgetting about that. And just basically, I think one's the old oscilloscope that I have, and one's an electronic battery tester. Then we've got Sam's big spanners. Yeah, so remember those?
Yeah.
They're cool. They're like really heavy, aren't they? And I bought those, and they're 10. Bloody hell! I forgot they were 10. And I bought these because on the ATVs that we had in England, which were Yamahas, they had 2 big nuts on the back axle that we had to undo, and they got really, really tight. So I bought 2 big spanners, because you couldn't put a socket on because it was an axle. And these did the job every time and never failed us. They've had quite a hard life, but again, I wasn't going to leave them behind because they're cool
They're
spanners.
giant.
Yeah, they're awesome, those. What else have we got? Well, we've got all the Makita stuff. So we've got the 3/8, we saw a minute ago. We've got the 1/2 inch. We've got rechargeable grinder, good for cutting. Hasn't got a guard on. Probably will never have the guard put back on again. Very dangerous. Drill that I've had about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now, that one. Believe it or not, there's this is a really old Makita, which basically does a similar job, although it's 1/2 inch, similar job to that, but all the batteries died, so we can't use it anymore, which is really sad. So it just goes in the drawer because I can't bring myself to throw it away. We've got the big socket we used on that test we did, and the adapter, that can go in there, look. And that's for doing piston rings, to compress the piston rings when you put the new piston back in the block. What else have we got? You can chuck that down there if you want, Sam. Now that is a Makita mains powered windy gun that we bought back in England, but it's 110 volt. So until I buy a transformer over here, I can't use it. And lastly, we've got we've got the big Blue Point 3/4 drive air impact wrench. We've got, this has been really good. This is a mains powered angle grinder by Metaboo, and this is probably 12, 14 years old now. Never had any new brushes in it, and it works brilliantly. It's really powerful. Very impressed with that. I use that a lot when I'm doing fabrication work. And we've got another Makita. Bloody hell, I'm such a fan of Makita. This is a 90-degree drill, and I remember buying this for a specific job on the Supercat. We'd snapped a bolt off, and it was really close to the side of the inside of the vehicle, so you couldn't get in with a normal drill. So I bought this to do the job, but it's been really good. Very impressed with that, and it's one of the first tools that came out with the LED light. So the light comes on whenever you press the go button. So that's really good. Ben uses that quite a bit. And I bought Ben a Makita grinder for Christmas. You can see he's mutilated the disc on it. But that's nowhere near as powerful as the Metaboo one. And that's about it, really. Damn. Not that many tools, really, is there? No. Oh well. Back to the bench then. You can see how dirty my tools are really because I've got grubby hands now. How are your hands doing?
Alright.
Not quite as grubby as mine, but maybe I do all the work. Who knows? Well, there you go, crew. Still feeling really bad that you've now seen the condition of my toolboxes, especially the old snap-on one. You know, I'm going to be really contemplating putting this video out when I'm editing it. It may just stay in the archives and never be seen until the day I'm not here anymore. We'll have to wait and see, but I feel compelled to put it out there because, well, one of you guys has asked me for it, and yeah, I did say I would do it. So it's going to go out. It has to go out, Sam, doesn't it? It does. But you're quite surprised how bad my toolboxes are, aren't you?
Pretty grimy.
Pretty nasty. Yeah. But I'm a busy chap. I don't have time to clean stuff. That's why I have tool girls, and then they don't come down and clean my toolboxes. So I'll have to just get a cleaner. I just need to get a workshop cleaner. That's what I need. I'll put an advert out, save some pennies up, and get somebody else to clean everything. But then they'll put things in different places, and I won't be able to find them, will I?
Yeah,
I'll have lost all my tools. So. You can't win. Okay, crew. Well, I do have a lot more tools. I mean, there's a lathe, and there's a power hacksaw, and there's the MIG, and there's all sorts of stuff. So maybe there'll be another video at some point covering the power tools that I use rather than just the hand tools, because this video could go on for hours. There's boxes and boxes of tools under the house that I brought from the UK that I just don't need to use on a daily basis, and I'm working out such a small workshop these days that I can't keep everything in here, unfortunately. Well, if you found the video interesting, enlightening, helpful, surprising, I don't know, use all those different words if you want. Why not click on the subscribe button? It's somewhere above Sam's cap at the moment. I'm sure she'll point it out to you at some point. A little like that. She's good at that kind of stuff. Yeah. Click on the subscribe button. Ring the bell. I'm going to say ring the bell. I'm going to change the graphics. Ring the bell, and our friends down at YouTube will send you an email as and when I upload any new videos. You'll also find me on
Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and Instagram.
You sure will. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals, but first point of contact, if you don't mind, through the comments on YouTube, because that's where I am most of the time. Now, there's also a Patreon page. You can drop onto that. There's lots of new information that's just hit the Patreon page there's profiles on all the tool girls, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, which most of you probably are, drop onto there. You can read all that. You don't have to be a patron to get access to that. There's also a new project where we're doing a workshop. A new workshop's been renovated down in mid-North Island, New Zealand. It's going to be about a 1.5-year project, so there's a lot of work to do down there, and it just gets done as and when I have time or a week off, that kind of thing, really. And yeah, so there'll be some videos on that as well, no doubt. Different kind of stuff. Andy welding up steel girders and concreting garage floors and doing illegal electric wiring, because I'll be wiring up at the garage myself. I don't pay for an electrician. I do it all myself. It's only 3 wires. How hard can it be? Yeah. And once we were testing, I renovated the cottage down there, and I was down there with my uncle, he does a bit of electrics on houses, but he's not a qualified electrician per se, as he would put it. And we hadn't taken our multimeter or test light with us, and we had 3 wires sticking out the ceiling, and we didn't know which one did the light and which one was the feed for the extractor fan. So we turned on the light, and I licked my finger, and I just flicked it across each of the wires in turn, and the one that I got electrocuted on, we knew was the one that was live. I'm still here. It's not that bad, honestly. It just tingled a bit, and I felt a bit odd for a few hours, but after that I was fine. No, just get the odd little jerk now and again, but I just edit those out. Okay, crew, so there you go. If you want to donate, you can do that through the Patreon portal, and until next time, which will be in about 5, 10, 15 minutes, I think there'll be a spot of lunch is called for, actually. We've been working pretty hard this morning. Well, I have anyway. Sam didn't rock up till about 11:30, wasn't it? So lazy, honestly. Can't get the tool girls these days. But, you know, I'll let you off because you're so damn good at that. You do push the boundaries now and again. I think she's testing me. All right, crew. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye
Tool Girl Sam.
from Tool Girl Sam. See you around, crew. Cheers. Over and out. And we get the flip again.
Oh!
much.